After the glorious Han Empire fell, China didn't just stumble, it shattered. For nearly 400 years, from the 3rd to the late 6th century, the land was torn apart by division, warfare, and constant change. This wasn't just a dark age, it was an era of profound transformation, a crucible that would forge a new China, culturally richer and spiritually deeper than ever before. Let's journey back to this chaotic yet fascinating period, from the fall of the Han to the rise of the Sui. It's a story of heroes, invaders, mystics, and scholars who all played a part in reshaping the soul of a civilization. Our story begins in the year 220 as the last Han emperor abdicates. The dream of a unified empire is dead, and in its place, 3 powerful warlords carve out their own domains. This is the legendary Three Kingdoms period. In the north, the ambitious and brilliant strategist Cao Cao establishes the state of Wei, controlling the old imperial heartland. To the southwest, in the rugged region of Shu, the virtuous and charismatic Liu Bei, a distant relative of the Han royal family, founds his own kingdom, Shu Han, vowing to restore the fallen dynasty. And in the fertile Yangtze River Delta to the southeast, the formidable Sun family, led by Sun Quan, establishes the state of Wu, a naval power built on trade and maritime strength. For decades, these 3 kingdoms were locked in a complex dance of alliances and betrayals. It was an age of epic battles, like the famous Battle of Red Cliffs, where the allied forces of Liu Bei and Sun Quan decisively defeated Cao Cao's much larger army, halting his southward expansion. This period produced some of Chinese history's most iconic figures, immortalized in literature and folklore. But the balance of power was fragile. By 263, Wei conquered Shu, and just a few years later, a powerful family within Wei, the Sima clan, usurped the throne and established a new dynasty. The Jin in 280, the Jin conquered Wu, finally reunited. But this unity would be, tragically, the heroes of the 3 kingdoms are larger-than-life figures. Cao is often portrayed as a cunning and ruthless villain, but he was also a gifted poet and an effective administrator who laid the groundwork for many institutions that would last for centuries. Liu Bei represents the ideal of a benevolent and righteous ruler whose quest to restore the Han was fueled by loyalty and a deep sense of justice. His bond with his sworn brothers, the mighty warrior Guan Yu and the fierce Zheng Fei, is a timeless tale of brotherhood. Sun Quan, the founder of Wu, was a pragmatic and patient leader, skilled at identifying talent and defending his territory. He consolidated his power in the south, fostering economic growth and creating a distinct southern culture. These men weren't just warlords. They were architects of new states, and their legacies shaped the political and cultural landscape for generations. The fragile unity of the Jin dynasty shattered in the early 4th century. A combination of internal strife among the ruling princes and severe famine left the northern frontier vulnerable. Various non-Han nomadic peoples from the steppes, collectively known as the Wuhu, or 5 barbarians, swept down into the Yellow River Valley. They sacked the Jin capitals, Luoyang and Chang'an, forcing the Jin court to flee south. Across the Yangtze River, they established what is known as the Eastern Jin Dynasty, with its capital at Gyeongkang Modern. This event marked the beginning of a long period of political division between North and South. The North became a chaotic battleground where a succession of short-lived 16 kingdoms Joseon fell, founded by different ethnic groups. Eventually, the Xianbai people, specifically the Tuaba clan, unified the North in 439, establishing the Northern Wei dynasty. For the next century and a half, China was split into the northern dynasties, ruled by Xianbei elites, and the southern dynasties, ruled by Han Chinese aristocrats. This division wasn't just political. It created two distinct societies that would evolve along separate paths. Amidst the chaos and uncertainty of this era, a new spiritual force from India found fertile ground. Buddhism, while it had arrived in China during the Han Dynasty, it was during this period of division that it truly for people suffering from constant warfare and instability, Buddhism offered a message of salvation, compassion, and a path to escape the cycle of suffering. Monasteries became centers of learning, charity, and art. Rulers in both the north and south became patrons of the faith, sponsoring the translation of scriptures and the construction of magnificent temples and monuments. The most breathtaking examples of this devotion are the cave temples carved into cliffs at places like Yonggang and Longmen in the north. Thousands of statues of Buddhas and Bodhisattvas were chiseled from solid rock, a testament to the incredible faith and artistic skill of the time. This wasn't just a foreign religion being imported. It was being transformed. Buddhism blended with native Chinese traditions, especially Taoism, creating new schools of thought like Chan, which would later become Zen in Japan. This spiritual revolution fundamentally changed the way people saw the world, their lives, and the afterlife. This era of division was also a golden age for culture and intellectual thought. In the South, at the refined courts of the southern dynasties, art and literature flourished. Calligraphy was elevated to a high art form, with masters like Wang Shizi, the sage of calligraphy, creating works of breathtaking beauty and grace that are still revered today. Poetry became more personal and lyrical, exploring themes of nature, friendship, and the fleetingness of life. It was also a time of intellectual exploration. Taoist philosophy experienced a revival, with scholars known as the Seven Sages of the Bamboo Grove becoming famous for their unconventional lifestyles and philosophical debates. Meanwhile, in the north, practical sciences made significant advances. The Northern Wei mathematician and astronomer Zhu Shangji calculated the value of pi to an astonishing 7 decimal places, a level of accuracy not surpassed elsewhere in the world for nearly 1,000 years. He also developed a new, more accurate calendar. This period saw the creation of comprehensive encyclopedias and geographical treatises. Far from being a dark age, it was a time of immense intellectual and artistic creativity, born from the fusion of different cultures and the search for new meaning in a fragmented world. The long separation created two distinct cultural spheres. Southern culture, centered around the capital Jiangkang, was seen as the heir to the classical Han tradition. It was aristocratic, literary, and deeply influenced by Taoist and Buddhist philosophy. The elite families prized refinement, poetry, and philosophical conversation. Life was oriented around the great estates and the sophisticated urban culture of the capital. In the north, a vibrant hybrid culture emerged. The Xianbei rulers of the Northern Wei were originally nomadic warriors, but they gradually adopted many Chinese customs, administrative techniques, and even Emperor Shawan of the Northern Wei famously moved his capital to the ancient heartland city of Luoyang and mandated a sweeping program of ordering his people to adopt Chinese language and dress. This created a powerful synthesis of steppe martial vigor and Chinese administrative sophistication. The North was more militaristic and socially fluid than the South, with a society that blended nomadic and agrarian traditions. After centuries of division, the stage was set for in the north. The Northern Wei dynasty eventually split into two, but one of its successor states, the Northern Zhou, produced a brilliant general named Yang Jihun, a man of incredible ambition and strategic talent. Yang Jian usurped the throne in 581, establishing a new dynasty, the Sui. He quickly consolidated his power in the north, building a strong army and a stable government. Then he turned his attention south. In 589, the Sui armies crossed the Yangtze River and conquered the last of the southern dynasties, the Qun. After nearly 400 years of fragmentation, China was once again a single, unified empire. The Sui dynasty would be short-lived, but its achievements were monumental, paving the way for the glorious Ten's dynasty. The most famous of these was the construction of the Grand Canal, a massive waterway linking the north and south, which physically and economically stitched the reunited empire together. From the ashes of the Han, a new China was born. The centuries of division were painful and chaotic, but they were also incredibly dynamic.